Have you ever wondered about ancient rituals? About secrets locked away in the pages of history? There are ceremonies so profound, so filled with meaning, that they shape the very soul of a people. Today, we journey back in time, thousands of years, to a moment of incredible significance. We are going to explore a day unlike any other. It was a day of judgment, a day of purification, a day of hope. This was the Day of Atonement, a single solemn day when the fate of an entire nation hung in the balance. The book of Leviticus holds a dramatic and powerful story in its 16th chapter. It is not just a list of rules. It is a detailed script for a sacred drama. A drama involving a high priest, a holy sanctuary, and the sins of a whole community. The instructions were exact because the stakes were unimaginably high. One misstep, one deviation from the divine command could lead to disaster. It was a day of both immense danger and incredible grace. Join us as we pull back the veil on one of the most mysterious and significant events in the Old Testament. The journey into the heart of Leviticus 16 begins now. Welcome back to Bible Stories and Chronicles channel. If you like to hear beautiful stories from Bible, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. This will be very meaningful to us. Thank you. To truly grasp the significance of this day, we must first understand the world in which it took place. We find ourselves in the heart of the unforgiving Sinai wilderness. Here, the Israelites, recently freed from slavery, live as a nomadic people. Their sprawling camp, a city of tents home to millions, is organized with divine precision, a testament to a society on the move, guided by God. At the very center of this camp, standing as the focal point of their entire existence, is the tabernacle. Constructed from the finest materials, acacia wood overlaid with gold, and intricate tapestries, this was not merely a tent for worship. It was considered the literal dwelling place of God on earth, the place where heaven and earth met. The tabernacle itself was divided into distinct areas, each with increasing levels of holiness. The journey inward began in the outer court, with its great bronze altar for sacrifices. Beyond this lay the first enclosed chamber, the holy place, where priests performed their daily duties, tending to the golden lampstand and the table of showbread. But beyond this, separated by a thick, ornate curtain known as the veil, lay the most sacred space of all, the Holy of Holies. Inside this perfect cube sat the Ark of the Covenant. Above the Ark, on its lid called the Mercy Seat, flanked by two golden cherubim, the glory of God was said to dwell. This space was so intensely sacred that it was off-limits to everyone, except by one person, on one specific day of the year. At the heart of this solemn ceremony stands one man, Aaron, the high priest. As the supreme spiritual leader of the Israelite nation, his daily duties were immense. But on this day, his responsibility transcends the ordinary. He becomes the sole mediator, the one man tasked with standing in the gap between a million people and their Creator. The spiritual fate of the nation rests upon his shoulders. The background of this story is tinged with personal tragedy. Aaron had witnessed the death of his own two sons, Nadab and Abihu, for their failure to respect God's holiness. They offered unauthorized fire and were consumed on the spot. This event serves as a constant, sobering backdrop for Aaron's actions. He knows firsthand that the divine presence is not to be trifled with. One misstep could be fatal. Therefore, as the day begins, Aaron is a figure of profound solitude. He is separated from his family and the community he serves. He alone must prepare for the most dangerous journey of his life. A journey not across land, but across the threshold between the human and the divine, into the very presence of God. The Day of Atonement dawns not with pomp and circumstance, but with an act of profound humility. Aaron must bathe his entire body in water. This is a ritual purification, a washing away of any earthly impurity, preparing him to stand in the presence of absolute holiness. Once he is ritually clean, Aaron sets aside his normal, glorious attire. He strips away the symbols of his high rank and power. In their place, he puts on garments of simple, plain white linen, a linen tunic, linen undergarments, a linen sash, and a linen turban. By dressing in these simple garments, Aaron is not approaching God as a powerful dignitary. He is approaching as a humble servant. Aaron's next step is to address the most immediate spiritual problem, his own sin. Before he can represent the people, he must first be made right with God himself. For this purpose, a specific sacrifice is required. Aaron is to bring a young bull as a sin offering for himself and for his household, which included the entire priesthood. He would lay both of his hands firmly upon the head of the bull. This was a solemn and formal act of identification and transference. In this moment, Aaron symbolically transfers his own sins and the sins of his family of priests onto the animal. The bull now becomes the substitute. After this symbolic transfer, the bull will be slaughtered. Its blood, which represents its life, becomes the essential element for purification. Once Aaron has made provision for his own atonement, his focus shifts to the collective sin of the people of Israel. From the congregation, 2 male goats are brought forward. They are to be as identical as possible, a crucial detail emphasizing that their fates are not determined by any inherent quality, but by divine appointment alone. He takes 2 lots, small stones or pieces of wood used for divination. On one lot, a name is inscribed, Ladonai, for the Lord. On the other, a different, more mysterious name is written, Lazazel. The meaning of Azazel has been debated for centuries. Some scholars believe it refers to a specific, desolate location in the wilderness. Others interpret it as the name of a demonic entity, a ruler of the desert wastes. In either case, it represents a destination of ultimate removal, a place completely separate from the presence of God. Standing between the 2 goats, Aaron casts the lots. This is not a game of chance, but a solemn appeal to heaven. Divine will now designates the role each animal will play in the day's atonement. 1 goat is chosen for the Lord. Its destiny lies at the altar. Its life will be given, and its blood will serve as a powerful cleansing agent, purifying the most sacred space on earth from the defilement of sin. The other goat, designated for Azazel, will become the famous scapegoat. It is not killed, but preserved. It will be a living vessel, a tangible vehicle designated to physically carry the confessed sins of the entire nation away from their midst. Aaron now prepares for the most perilous moment of the year. He is about to step behind the thick, ornate veil and enter the Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. This is a place no other human is ever permitted to enter, on pain of death. With a burning censer in one hand and fine incense in the other, he steps into the terrifying darkness. He places the incense on the fire, and a thick, fragrant cloud immediately billows up, obscuring his vision. This cloud is a non-negotiable requirement, a protective barrier. It is a merciful shield between the mortal priest and the raw, overwhelming glory of God's presence, which no human can see and live. Inside the smoke-filled chamber, Aaron first takes the blood from the bull he sacrificed for his own sins. The high priest must be purified before he can act as an intermediary for the people. He dips his finger in the blood and sprinkles it once upon the front of the mercy seat, the golden lid of the Ark of the Covenant. Then, he sprinkles it 7 more times on the floor before the Ark. Having atoned for himself, he exits, retrieves the blood of the goat chosen for the Lord, and re-enters. He repeats the entire process, this time making atonement for the holy place, tainted by the impurities of the people of Israel. This double application of blood purifies both the priest and the sanctuary, making reconciliation possible. With the inner sanctum purified, Aaron emerges into the courtyard. The living goat, the one chosen for Azazel, is now brought to stand before him. The ritual that follows is a powerful physical demonstration of sin's removal. In full view of the people, Aaron lays both of his hands firmly on the animal's head. This is a formal legal act of identification and transference. As he presses down, he confesses all the wickedness, rebellion, and transgressions of the people of Israel. He verbally places the entire spiritual and moral debt of the nation onto this one animal. The goat, now symbolically laden with this immense spiritual burden, is handed over to an appointed man. This man's task is to lead it away from the camp, away from the community, and into the wilderness. The wilderness, in ancient thought, was the antithesis of the ordered holy camp of Israel, a realm of chaos and desolation. After a long journey to a remote, uninhabited land, the man releases the goat. The animal, carrying the sins of the people, is left to wander in utter solitude, never to return. The separation is absolute. Their sins were not just forgiven, they were physically and permanently removed, sent to a place where they could no longer defile the people or their relationship with God. The visual of the goat disappearing over the horizon was an annual, tangible promise of a clean slate. After the intense ritual of the two goats, Aaron's sacred duties for the day are still not complete. He returns to the holy place to remove the simple white linen garments. Having been worn in the direct presence of God within the Holy of Holies, they are now permanently consecrated, too holy for any other use. He carefully leaves them within the sanctuary, a silent testament to the day's solemn events. He then bathes and dresses again in his glorious multicolored high priestly garments. This transition is deeply symbolic. The simple linen showed the humility required to approach God with sin. The ornate robes now represent his confident leadership of a forgiven people. For the waiting Israelites, seeing him emerge alive and in splendor was a powerful, visible confirmation that the atonement had been accepted by God. Now, the focus shifts from atonement to adoration. He offers the burnt offerings, one for himself and one for the people. Unlike the sin offerings, which were mandatory for purification, these were a voluntary gift. They symbolized total consecration and renewed devotion, a joyful expression of gratitude for the forgiveness and reconciliation they had just received from God. Finally, the remains of the sin offerings, the bull and goat whose blood secured atonement, were taken far outside the camp and completely burned. This act powerfully signified that sin, and the defilement it causes, has been utterly removed from the holy sphere of God's people. It represents the final, irreversible destruction of the sin they carried. The Day of Atonement was established as a permanent statute, an annual anchor of reflection, repentance, and renewal for all future generations. This lasting law highlights a fundamental truth about the human condition. Because the tendency to stray is an ongoing reality, God's provision for reconciliation must also be ongoing, a reliable promise woven into the very fabric of their covenant relationship. The moral teaching is the profound seriousness of sin and the immense cost of forgiveness. Yet, it is also a story of overwhelming hope. God provided a merciful way for them to be made clean and to restore the fellowship that had been broken. The ritual of the two goats offers a complete picture of this divine grace, purification from sin's stain through a substitute, and the complete removal of its guilt and memory through the scapegoat. The ritual of the two goats offers a complete picture of this divine grace, purification through a substitute, and the complete removal of confessed sin. For Christians, the entire ceremony is seen as a detailed prophecy, a dress rehearsal for the ultimate act of atonement. The New Testament book of Hebrews explains how Jesus Christ is both the great high priest, who enters not a man-made sanctuary, but heaven itself, and the perfect sacrifice, whose own blood provides a permanent, once-for-all atonement, making the annual ritual obsolete. Ultimately, the Day of Atonement was the construction of a bridge across the vast chasm created by sin. It teaches that approaching the divine requires humility, that atonement requires a sacrifice, and that true forgiveness results in the complete removal of guilt. It is a story of how, in the face of human imperfection, God himself provides the way back to his presence, a path built on mercy and leading to restored fellowship. We will continue with another beautiful story from Bible in our next video. If you have not, please subscribe to this channel to help us to grow these contents to wider audience. Thanks for watching.